Hi, welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and if you've never been here before, I make, videos with no editing and just kind of rants. I have like cards I read off of so I don't forget the things I want to say. And yeah, I do a lot of, I just do videos about the stuff I like, right? And normally that's like A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, of course. I'd make a lot of shorts about Star Wars and also Pokemon. And now some fighting games. I've done a few Mortal Kombat videos, and I'm like, Street Fighter 6 is coming. I'm going to play it. I played the demo. I'm ready. Been watching all this stuff to get ready for it. Watched literally everything I can, and I'm pumped like everybody else. And I decided everybody else is making one, so why don't I make a characters I want in Street Fighter 6 video? And we already know the roster for the most part. If you're watching this in the future, like really far in the future, technically you're watching in the future no matter what, because, that's how time works. But I mean, like after the game came out, I'm putting this out in May, about a month before the game came out. So I know the main roster and I already know the first year of DLC. So, of course, the characters I have are not in that first year of DLC and they're not on the main roster at all. So, yeah, I'm kind of have a theme of my characters. And you'll see them as I get going. So I did 12 because I can't just do 10. I made 12 for Mortal Kombat 12, but that made sense because, Mortal Kombat 12. So it makes sense if there was 12. I don't know why I made 12 for this because 10 is too difficult for me. So let's start with number 12. And I'm going to state, I should have said this already. So these are characters I want, but they're not all Street Fighter characters, but they're all in the Street Fighter greater world. So all these characters are either from Final Fight or rival schools or whatever, right? They've been in the Street Fighter world, not the greater Capcom world. And I'll get to those too, because I got kind of some honorable mentions for the greater Capcom world. And yeah, so I'm not bringing in anybody from, I'm not making up any new guys, but I do have characters that have never been in Street Fighter before on my list. But they are from the greater Street Fighter universe, right? Okay, cool, whatever. Let's get in and starting with number 12. I have a rival schools guy. I have BOMAN, DELGAGO. I can't speak. So, so Sakura was in rival schools. So, Sakura was in rival schools. So we know that there's that connection there. So it's time to bring more fighters in from there into Street Fighter. We have seen others. I want to see this giant. So when I was looking at rival schools, I'm looking at this dude. I'm like, ooh, I like this big, huge, gentle giant, like kind of like a big character, but he's make him a little bit less of a brawler, and he's a boxer. So he's a huge church kid, which I think is funny. So, huge church kid is actually a boxer, and I love boxers in Street Fighter. But again, as I said, I will settle for Akira again because she's from rival schools too. But yeah, Bowman's a big boxer. Also, like that tie-in from rival schools, and we're kind of doing this new generation thing, right? And again, like from Street Fighter 3. So I was like, why don't we bring in some rival schools, some younger fighters from there? So then my 11, I got a Hugo. So yeah, that's right. The Final Fight character. This is the first Final Fight character I want. All right. With Metro City being a big theme in the game, I want me some Mad Gear. And the former Matty Gears and the Andre the Giant character is a perfect place to start. He's huge and he's always fun to play. So he is really fun to play. And I always I always like Hugo. I love Andre the Giant. He's probably my favorite wrestler of all time, like old school wrestler. So I like Hugo being in there, and I just like Hugo as a character. And also Metro City, we are going to fight Mad Gears, right? You do in the demo there. And it would be cool to see like these, the couple characters who used to be Mad Gear Gang who are now not. And I'm going to start off with Hugo. I'd love to have Hugo in it. Now I have a very similar character for my number 10. I got Damned, also known as Thrasher. So yeah, so 2 Mad Gears in a row. Here we go. 2 Final Fight characters in a row. Look, we have never seen him in a Street Fighter game. He is already in the trailers. You do see him in the background. I think this is a no-brainer to finally bring him on. He is the first boss fight in Final Fight, and he should finally get like his street fighting in. He's also called Thrasher, as I said, and by any name, Thrasher, Damned, I want him in. He is a large fighter, but he seems nimble for his size. He does a lot of like flippity floppity stuff, so I don't even think he'd be a grappler. He's not big, but he's not like big body like Abigail, right? I think Thrasher would be super fun, and we do see him in the background on stages and stuff, and like demos and some of the trailers. So they already, I think he's possibly now. As you see, I'm kind of moving towards this Metro City and a different thing, but also the Metro City thing. So I'm taking a lot of characters. I've already done 2 Final Fight characters, so characters that kind of fit this thing. And I know they're going all over the world. They literally have almost every single world warrior in the roster already. So they're also doing some world hopping. But yeah, I think it would be really cool to finally get to see Thrasher in as a DLC character way later down the line. Now, all right, so my number 9, ELENA. So I love a good capoeira fighter, an indie fighting game. And she is Street Fighter's resident capoeira master. I know that she has ruffled some feathers in the past with her crazy healing stuff, but that's fine with me. I like a good ruffle the feathers. She is a fun-loving goofball, kind of. I like her attitude, and she has as many kicks as Dudley has punches. So if I'm going to have a boxer in here, I already got BOMAN. I might have some more boxers. Then we need to get some kickers, and I think ELENA would be really fun. And again, if we're doing like this new generation thing, instead of just bringing in new characters like Luke, even though Luke was from Street Fighter V, but it would be cool to bring in some Street Fighter 3 characters too. And I think ELENA would be a blast. So let's move on with 8. Yeah. All right. I also have a thing for grapplers. I love me a good grappler, and Armika has this infectious, bubbly personality that I can't get enough of. Plus, she hits people with her butt. It's awesome. It's masterful. Just so goofy. We already know that we have Geef, the big old Geef, in Street Fighter 6, and these guys should come in pairs. And I completely agree. I feel like if you have Geef in here, you should bring in Armika eventually. And I know they already kind of got some quite a few grapplers. Well, 2, you got Geef and Manon, but I have or Mana. I don't know how to say her name. So I don't know. I want Armika in there too. I think we need more grapplers. And that being said, here's another one. I might have a thing for grapplers. So Alex is my number 7. Plus now you see the Street Fighter 3 thing I have going on too. Yeah, I might have a Street Fighter 3 thing going on. So he was Street Fighter 3's poster boy, and honestly, I don't have a ton of reasoning. I just love him. Yeah, I don't have a lot of reason besides I want Alex in. Like, I was trying to think of like a good reason, like, oh well, because of the lore. No, because he was a poster boy in number 3, and this is the first game that's taken place after number 3, and you don't have a lot of that representation yet. So the roster so far has like Jury, from 4, and then besides that, it's like mostly World Warriors and brand new, and that's cool. That's a great base. But now let's bring in your Street Fighter 3 guys. It's finally a game that takes place after that. We can see their story progress, see where Alex went after that. And yeah. So all right, I promise no more Street Fighter 3 characters. I lied. Here's Dudley. My number 6. The mustache demands respect. He has a great moveset, great design. He's a rose-smelling gentleman. Something about this dude that I have a man crush on. I do have a massive man crush on him. And I know we are getting Ed in DLC. Spoilers if you didn't know that. But that's not enough boxers for me. More punchers, please. More punchers. Yeah, and I already brought in BOMAN too. But yeah, as many boxers as you want. I love Dudley. And I also think he would be a cool, because he's all about proper gentleman. And since this this new generation is kind of going all, you know, kind of got a 90s hip hop thing going on to it. And everyone's like cool and stuff. It'd be cool to see like, I'm not going to say cool over and over again. It'd be cool to see a like bad boy representation of Dudley, or if he's like the one gentleman who's like, you guys are improper. I think Dudley would be a great either foil or see how this new like style fits him. Either way, I want to see Dudley, and Dudley's great. All right, let's keep going. So now we got Sakura, number 5. Simple, so Simple starting off as a Ryu fangirl. That's where she like kind of got her beginning. She is becoming so much more. Her take on the Shotokan is a blast, and I want to see her back so she can grow even more. That was short and simple. She rules, right? I know I have like 3 friends who are like Sakura mains and 5. Like they're great. I just have 1. I don't have 3 friends in general, but but she's great, and let's bring her in. And again, I don't want to keep saying new generation, but I definitely will with the next one too. But I want to see more how her fighting style progresses and more how she progresses as a person now that she's not just a Ryu fangirl. So now that I talked about the former Ryu fangirl, let's talk about the Ken fanboy. Sean, my number 4. Oh, the crowd goes wild. I have Sean at number 4. This is crazy. What can I say? Sean is like the Sakura, but for Ken, he is totally due for a return. We got him in the story mode in 5, and we got his sister, but we didn't get to use him. And now I want to see him updated in graphics and mechanics, and to see how he has evolved and really get the after Street Fighter 3 version of Sean. And yeah, I mean, hey, it was fun playing as a sister, but I want to see Sean, man. He's so cool. He's the little guy, the little basketball loving dude. I like Sean, and I like his different take on Shotokan, or being a Shoto. But yeah. All right, let's get weird. You want to get nuts? Q. Yeah. Number 3. Q, the mysterious fighter. Besides just being a creepy dude in a mask, we know next to nothing about him. There are many fan speculations, and people are telling me that those speculations are fact. That he is related to G, of course, because G looks like him, and the new Dapper JP, because there's kind of been some connections there. I will take G if I don't get Q. Like, I'll be cool if they bring in G as DLC later on, but man, I'd rather have the real thing. He's a really creepy trench coat having thing. And yeah, I love Q. The first time I ever saw him, I was like, I never played Street Fighter 3 growing up, and I was like, what is this guy? I was watching like clips of it, and he's so cool. And also there's so much mysterious stuff of his connections, and we don't know anything about him. And we got in G, the president of the world. Let's bring in Q and really crack open this mystery a little bit to see what's going on here. All right. Yeah, so we hung out in Street Fighter 3 for a while. Let's go back to Metro City and go back to a Final Fight character. Let's go back to Poison. She is actually also a Street Fighter character, not like Thrasher has ever been in. Yeah, I love Poison so much. She's hot. She's controversial. She's confident. She's popular. Plus, with the Metro City and Mad Gear thing being a thing, it's perfect to bring in former Mad Gear Final Fighter into Street Fighter again. I know that she's been. Oh, and I just love her. I just have a massive crush on this whip having Poison. Poison's great. And yeah, of course I want Poison in. Who doesn't? That's messed up because she's great. Yeah. So that was my number 2. Let's do some honorable mentions. So again, this is in the greater Capcom world for guest characters. So if they bring in like an actual guest character, one of these is really. I must have had a bad day when I made this. So guest characters, I want Jill Valentine from Resident Evil, of course. And you could just take her right out of her Capcom or Marvel vs. Capcom style. Frank West, Also, just grab him right out of Marvel vs. Capcom. And then I went with bad box art Mega Man from Street Fighter X Tekken or Cross Tekken, whatever you're supposed to say. Because if they did that, everyone would be mad, and I would love it. They bring in bad box art Mega Man. No one would be okay with it, and I'd be like, anarchy, let's do this. Jill, because Resident Evil, always bring in Resident Evil character. I'm totally cool with that. And Frank West, because I think he was really fun in Marvel vs. Capcom, and I like to see him in another fighting game. Like, he takes pictures of people and says it's weird. He's got a really weird moveset. It's fun. All right. So I'm sure you can guess my number one, because I had a theme here. So, like, new generation and also kind of a lot of Final Fight characters to open up the greater world. And my number one does that. Although he might be dead. There's a statue of him in one of the trailers. So he might be dead. But if he isn't, maybe he faked his death. You know who I'm talking about. Number one, Mike HAGGAR. Yes. Oh, I like when I say what it's going to be in my card already. So my theme has been New Generation plus Metro City, if you haven't noticed. So who better than the former mayor and final fighter than Mike friggin' HAGGAR? Sure, he might be dead because we do see that memorial. But if he isn't, it's time to bring him into the main Street Fighter series. A game that is focused on Metro City without Mike HAGGAR seems just wrong. I'll settle for Cody if I have to, I guess. Yeah, I'll settle for Cody. That's fine. But Mike's great. I think his moveset is perfect. He's going to be mostly a grappler because he actually shares a lot of Zangief's moveset, but give him a little bit more than that. Give him a little bit more of a brawl with like a command grab. I think it would be a blast. And I grew up playing Final Fight, and I love that this is taking place in Metro City because I'm like, this is the opportunity, as you can tell by my list, this is the opportunity to really meld those worlds together. So yeah, this is my list. Please, this is just my dumb list. It's a really goofy list. What's yours? You tell me yours. Don't get mad at me. This is just me being dumb. This is me being goofy. Woo! So yeah, this isn't definitive. I don't know anyone at Capcom or anything. So yeah, please tell me who you want and how much of a I don't know how much of a stan I am for Poison. That's fine. Tell me who you want in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please check out my other stuff, and I might be working on a every Street Fighter character Pokemon type video. It's a big one, and it's going to take me a long time. So, yeah. Thank you, guys. Do all that YouTube stuff. Have a good one.